Welcome back to the Stumpf Moving and Storage YouTube channel. As always, I'm Sean, and today behind me here we have one of our moving trucks as we are on site at a move. I'm going to show you guys how to load a moving truck properly and professionally. Before I get into it, if you guys like this video, if you learned something, hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos that will help you prepare for your next move. First thing we're going to use is large furniture. This here is a dresser. It's a tall dresser, but this is what we would call base. So base is what we use first, and then we'll use middle, which is your medium furniture, your very small furniture, or boxes. And then we'll go to up, or up stuff, also known as stick, chowder, and the names go on and on for all of your up stuff and chowder. It's just mover jargon for your little things that will go up top. So again, we're gonna have our base, which is the bottom. That's gonna be your bigger furniture that we can load on top of. And then we'll have our middle stuff, your boxes primarily, and nightstands, things like that. And then we'll have our smaller stuff, also known as stick, chowder, up stuff. All that's gonna be going up top. So I've already placed this in here. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab another piece of base to fill this section. And then we're gonna be working our way up. If you guys need any of the materials we use here today, such as moving pads, bands, dollies, straps, anything like that, go ahead and take a look in the description below. We have everything listed right there for you. Now that I have this second piece of base in here, I'm going to start using medium items to start loading up our tier. Now, if you notice, the backs of the furniture are not protected, and there's two reasons for that. Most of the time, the backs are unfinished. So what we want to do is focus our protection on the front of the furniture when we pad. And everything that comes into a moving truck is going to be pad wrapped and protected. So on the next tier, anything that's placed up against this will be padded, and we'll gain the protection that you need on the back end that way. So now that we have this in here, we're going to go ahead and grab some smaller furniture. I have a nightstand that I'm going to go up with, and then we'll use some boxes. Okay. I'm turning it sideways and placing the legs to the wall. That way we gain stability. If I would place it on its legs, it wouldn't be stable in the load. We want to make sure that this load is stable, tight, and secure. So that's why I'm placing it that way. If you have to, if space is an issue, you guys can pad wrap other smaller items and place them inside. We don't need to do that here. This is a local move, so we're not going to be doing that. We're just going to be placing this in here, and we're going to be loading it tight. Now, any boxes that we pack are packed to be loaded in different angles and different ways, because we never know how the truck's going to need to be loaded. So sometimes we might have to stand a box up, turn it sideways. Lucky for me right now, we could just leave it as is. These are PBO cartons, which means packed by owner. So we want to really make sure that we're loading these properly, because you never know how they would have been packed. The other thing you get when you have a customer who's elected to pack themselves are boxes of all different shapes and sizes. They're usually not industry standard, so it makes it a little tougher to load. You'll have to be more cognizant of what you have to work with. This is one of those moments I had to turn the box sideways. That way we could square the load out. We don't want the load to come too far out of the tier, because the tier is going to stay flush so that we can load another flush tier. And typically we're going to work right to left or left to right, but sometimes you just have to fill the spots that you have as you go. And again, we want to make sure everything's flush. So I have a spot right here to the left, down the left, and I have some little items that I'm going to go ahead and fill in there. Now that section of the load isn't carrying any weight, so we can put some smaller items in there that we're not worried are going to get crushed. Now as we're loading, you might run into an area where you can't fill, but you need to make sure that you have a level loading platform before you continue upward with your tier. I want to go ahead and put some dining room chairs on the tier, so I'm going to either use a hot dog or a sausage. It is quite the debate in the moving and storage industry, but let me show you exactly what this is. Now to make a hot dog or a sausage, all we're going to do is take a moving pad and fold it up. And when we have this folded, we're going to use the moving pad to eat up this space so that we have a nice level loading platform. So some guys call it a hot dog, some guys call it a sausage, but the main thing you need to know here is that this is a technique that can help you continue upward with your load. Now I'm going to use dining room chairs. So my crew has already padded all this stuff for me, guys, in the house. And we'll take our dining room chairs and we'll face the legs to the wall. And then we're going to do what we call capping. So I'll cap the next one into it and I'll work my way across. So we'll take this next one here and I'm capping it in there. So basically I'm putting the seats together. The back is across the legs here and back is here in the first one and the legs are here. So that's going to eat up some nice space. Again, if you're going across country where you have to worry about space, you could put some smaller items inside the legs here, but we're not worried about that today. Help square this load out. I'm going to take this dining room chair and I'm going to work the opposite way. Again, the legs are to the wall here and the bottom or the back is on the bottom of the tier. We're going to go ahead and place the next one in, and I will have a gap here that I'll use smaller items to fill. We're going to go ahead and fill this little section that I have here. It's a little bit bigger than you'd think because the pads are here, but we're going to go ahead and use smaller items and then we'll go ahead and work with the up stuff next. Now we're working things in there, but we're not forcing it. So we're just trying to make sure that everything is flush, smooth, and tight, but we're not over forcing it. We have the last blocks in there and we've finished the middle section of this tier. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and load up stuff, stick, any of that small, tiny stuff that's also known as chowder. Basically anything that will fit up there that's extremely light. So if you have outdoor tools, shovels, if you guys have bed rails that haven't been loaded yet, if you guys have small vacuums, I see a broom back here that'd be perfect. Any rolled up rugs that aren't too long. Things like that will help out fill this space. I'm going to go ahead and bring a couple on here and I'll show you guys what we're going to do. I have this unpadded right here only because I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. This little vacuum is going to get wrapped up in a moving pad and then placed up top. These kind of items, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about stick. Here's another good example of stick. This is a stand for a keyboard. Again, we're going to be wrapping this up, but I want to give you guys a visual representation of what we're looking for when we're looking for stick. Here's a broom. Guys, we're not going to be padding this. But again, I wanted to give you a visual representation of what stick is. We'll be placing this up there, but we want to make sure that everything else around this is wrapped and padded and protected so that this doesn't damage anything. And this moving pad here is the little vacuum. We're getting that put up here. Now, typically I would have a ladder to assist me. I'm going to have to go grab that because this is just a little too tall for me. This is the ladder that I use when I load stick. So I'm going to get up here, make sure that that vacuum is in there nicely. And I'm going to grab another little vacuum that I have here that I think you guys can see will go in nicely. Again, I have not padded this because I want to give you guys a visual representation of what stick is. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this right now. Now that vacuum is wrapped, I can go ahead and place it up into the load. It's in there nice and neat. All I have really left right now for stick or up stuff are really small, light boxes. All right, I'm finishing this tier out with some small boxes because that's really all I have left to load. We just want to make sure that these are small and light enough to go up top. And that's the last box that I have that's going to be fitting up there. And realistically, that's the last thing I have that can go up there. So we're going to be starting a new tier, the same way we just done the other one. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, if this helped you with your move, please hit that like button for me. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos that will help you prepare for your next move. Some helpful hints and tips along the way.